QB rumors, and trades the Steelers didn't make. What more could you ask for to start off the week on a Monday? Big Deke news. So Deebo Samuel got traded over the weekend to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round pick. And why is this important, or why is this notable for a show like this that talks about the Steelers? Well, the Steelers were reportedly in the mix for Deebo Samuel because he officially was put on the trade block over this past week at the scouting combine when John Lynch said that Deebo Samuel wants a fresh start. We're going to honor his request. Now, a lot of signs were pointing to the Niners trading Deebo Samuel whenever their season ended, but we got the official confirmation from John Lynch, and then the consequential reports that came out after John Lynch's statement was that the Steelers are one of the top 3 or 4 teams that are looking into a trade for Deebo Samuel. And I've talked about whether or not Deebo Samuel would be a good fit here in Pittsburgh. I think from a play style standpoint, it could be really interesting. It could be really unique. You could, if we bring back Justin Fields, Deebo Samuel could be a really good fit for a run-first offense in the ways you could motion him, use him out the backfield, and have him do a lot of gadgety type of stuff, as we saw with him being utilized over in Kyle Shanahan's system in San Francisco. So I was open to it. I mean, there's certain concerns you have about Deebo Samuel. You wonder if he's past his prime, he's over the hill. Is some of the drama that you got from him over the last couple of years in San Fran, is that worth it for the production you're getting out of him? You're definitely not going to see the all-pro season again from Deebo Samuel, but can you at least get 1,000 yards receiving again and maybe 200 or 300 rushing yards, 8-9 total touchdowns? Can you still see that version of Deebo Samuel with some change of scenery? Maybe, and that's why I was open to it, especially with him only having 1 year left on his contract. It could have been a 1-year rental, prove it type of season for Deebo in the black and gold. So, yeah, who knows? Who knows, right? I think it would have been worth the risk. It could have been worth taking a swing at it. But obviously, Deebo isn't available anymore. But what hurts is it only took a 5th-round pick for the Commanders to get him. What did we use our 5th-round pick on? Mike Williams, the Mike Williams trade at the trade deadline. It's like, bro, I guess it's hindsight 2020, but in terms of managing resources, in terms of managing how you use your draft picks and how they're valued and what they're worth, I'd rather use that 5th-round pick to get Deebo Samuel for a full season as opposed to trading that 5th-round pick at the trade deadline to get Mike Williams for half a season. Now, again, granted, hindsight's 2020. At the time when we traded for Mike Williams, it felt like we were legit contenders, and we definitely needed receiver depth. And I felt like even if Mike Williams wasn't going to be prime Mike Williams or anything like that, trading a 5th-round pick for Williams was worth it, given just we needed wide receiver depth, especially in case Pickens went down. We needed it that bad. We were pretty desperate. But then you see how the season played out. It's like, man, what a waste of a draft pick. What a waste of a trade there. And then we see Deebo Samuel getting traded this offseason for a 5th-round pick. Now, is it the end of the world? No, because, again, there were question marks around Deebo, and there's going to be other receivers available, whether it's via trade or free agency coming up here in the next couple weeks, that, yeah, could you argue they'd be a better fit than Deebo Samuel? Could there be more high-profile names out there? Yeah, but for a 5th-round pick, it hurts a little bit. It hurts a little bit, man. And there's not too many names that are going to be out there better than Deebo Samuel. Maybe a handful. So why I say it's not the end of the world is let's see how the Steelers operate. Let's see if they get a better guy in here than Deebo Samuel via free agency, or if we kill it in the draft by getting some really good receiver talent. But aside from that, the other thing that makes me pause a little bit about this trade and why I'm a little bit bummed out the Steelers didn't get Deebo Samuel is because if you look at the Commanders' system and what their offense is with Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels, right? spread offense, read option, utilize Jaden Daniels' legs. Even though they aren't completely run first, like Jaden Daniels' legs, him being a run threat is a critical part of how they call plays and run their offense, right? Isn't that what if we bring back Fields, isn't that what we'd be shooting for? So it just makes me wonder, what did the Commanders know that we don't? Now, not saying that they knew something that we didn't completely, because we were obviously in the mix for Deebo Samuel. Like, he was an intriguing prospect here. So us and the Commanders were on some sort of the same wavelength. But what do they know that we don't? Or what kind of secret sauce do they have on, like, from an offensive side that they have that we don't, made them pull the trigger to get Deebo Samuel for a 5th-round pick? And why were we hesitant? Like, that just makes me pause a little bit. Because if you had to say which team or which organization is heading in the right direction from an offensive standpoint, it's the Commanders, not us. Now, again, let's wait and see what we do. But, I mean, like Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels, Commanders offense, how they operated last year, they obviously viewed Deebo Samuel as a really nice piece. It could have been, again, a very similar situation here. Commanders having Jaden Daniels their quarterback, young quarterback, talented quarterback. They got their one, Terry McLaurin, and then Deebo Samuel as their 2. They were lacking receiver depth as well. And then here, we got Pickens as our 1. Let's say we bring back Justin Fields, and then it could have been Deebo at 2. Yeah, it's just like, man, again, we got to take swings sometimes. We got to, who knows though? Let's not judge it too harshly right now, but a lot of signs, a lot of things are pointing towards the Steelers missing out on this. I'll say that, because you could have traded for Deebo. It's only a 5th-round pick. Well, I guess we don't have. Do we not have our 5th-round pick for this year? I guess it would have had to been a future. Maybe that's why we didn't do the trade. There you go. I'm thinking about why the Commanders were able to pull this off, and we weren't. We don't have a 5th-round pick. Maybe a 4th-round pick was too much, and the Niners didn't want a future 5th-round pick. But that just makes that Mike Williams trade, again, whenever you look back on it, hindsight 2020, that just makes that Mike Williams trade look that much worse, unfortunately. Man. But I was going to say, Deebo Samuel, like, it only took a 5th-round pick to get him. His contracts, or his cap hit, I think, is only for $17 million for the Commanders. You could work with that, and you could still draft the receiver, right? We could have done this Deebo Samuel trade and still drafted Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, one of these receivers in the top couple rounds. I mean, then you want to talk about receiving core. Calvin Austin becomes your 4th receiver. Calvin Austin's your 4th. Roman Wilson's your 5th. That's a hell of a depth chart right there. So let's see what the Steelers still got up their sleeve if they're going to address receiver via free agency, which they should. I think a lot of the talk is that we're going to do it. Maybe even a trade too. Who knows who's available via trade? Obviously, Deebo was. Aiyuk being talked about a little bit. Would we rather have Aiyuk than Deebo Samuel? Maybe. Now there's concerns with Aiyuk now with the ACL and everything. But as a pure receiver, Aiyuk is definitely better than Deebo Samuel. I think he's going to age out better if you're talking about him being here long term. Now, he did just sign that contract. So if you do trade for Aiyuk, you got him on the books for what, like 2-3 years at least. And that contract's not that good. Now, hopefully the Niners maybe take on a portion of that. It could give whatever new team, if it is us trading for him, some relief in that category. But, yeah, let's wait and see. It's just a bummer, though. Like, on the surface right now, in the moment, a couple days removed from seeing Deebo go to the Commanders, it does feel like we missed out. It does. Because I don't think there is a guarantee that we get a better guy in free agency or via trade before the draft. I think there's a guarantee. But what you do know is Deebo went for a 5th-round pick. Like, there's some other better names out there. Devontae Adams, right? T. Higgins, but I don't think we're getting T. Higgins. Bengals are saying they're going to re-sign him. They're franchise tagging him, doing all this stuff, but then he's calling cap on it. He's saying that the Bengals are lying about it. He doesn't buy it. So maybe he is more available. But again, if the Bengals hold his rights at all, I don't think we're getting him via trade. It's going to be another team. Most likely, I would assume not in the AFC. If the Bengals were smart, they would try to trade Higgins to the NFC. But outside of that, I guess you got Diggs, but he's coming off the ACL. He's up there in age too. Like there's not too many guys that are out there that are like definitively better than Deebo Samuel. Again, a handful. So if the Steelers land one of these guys, then it's all well and good. But anyway, there was another trade that the Steelers didn't make, and that was Matt Stafford. He's going back to the Rams. That was confirmed over the weekend as well. So that leaves one less quarterback on the table for the Steelers. One less, from my standpoint, legitimate quarterback on the table for the Steelers, because you guys know my options. You guys know how I feel about the quarterback situation for 2025. Fields, Rodgers, Stafford. Stafford's out. Now it's just between Fields and Rodgers for me. Any other option I'm not going to be thrilled about. And we got the latest, really. I'm just going to read these reports. I'm going to read what's going on. I'm not even going to react to it because you know my opinion. Just said it. Been saying it. So I don't really got to react to these reports. I'm just going to let you guys know what the updates are from all these insiders and how the pendulum's swinging between who the Steelers are prioritizing. Is it Fields? Is it Russ? Are they looking outside? Here's what we got. Because I think where we left off, it was Russ, right? Things were pointing in Russ's direction. From the Filipponi report with Jersey Jerry and then the Steelers reporter from the Combine, they were all saying Russ. We're back on Fields, though, now. So it's good for the Fields people out there. This is some good news. And from legitimate names, Jeremy Fowler and Ian Rappaport. Fowler, on his most recent ESPN article, says he gets a sense that Justin Fields has an edge over Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh's free agent quarterback pecking order. There's a sentiment for Fields in the building, and both sides will be open to return. The Steelers have at least another week to crystallize those plans, and they certainly haven't ruled out Wilson at this point. Regardless, Fields should have options. Jets, for one, are expected to gauge his market. His skill set would fit in Chip Kelly's scheme in Las Vegas, too. And then here's what Rappaport had to say on NFL Network during the Combine coverage.
If you say to me, what's the best educated guess based on talking to several sources around the league, Justin Fields over Russell Wilson, at least right now, feels like the direction they're going. Obviously, Russell Wilson was the starter last year. It was good until the end when it wasn't. He will at least have some sort of a market, but you're right. Justin Fields does seem to be at least the priority now. They do have an edge up on everyone. They can get a deal done right now.
So, Fields, Steelers plan A, hopefully. I'm praying. But other QB news or other Steelers QB news, outside of Fields, you got some plan B options now being thrown out there by Rappaport and Fowler. Fowler isn't counting out Sam Darnold, and Rappaport is even throwing out Derek Carr's name.
There is still a chance, as of right now, that Derek Carr becomes free. So you have a team like maybe the Steelers, maybe the Titans.
Now, in terms of what other teams' interest is in Fields and Russell Wilson out on the open market, we've already heard the Jets being connected to Fields. But you also got the Raiders, after swinging and missing on getting Matt Stafford, it looks like they're going to be pursuing both Fields and Russ via free agency, at least according to Adam Schefter. And we kind of knew that. I mean, this isn't anything surprising. Obviously, the Russ connection with Pete Carroll. But in terms of Fields, I think he would be a great fit in a Chip Kelly scheme down there in Vegas. And then the other one I'm seeing, though, this one just came up out of nowhere. A New York insider thinks that Russell Wilson to the Giants may actually have some steam. And Russ might be the quarterback that the team eventually settles on. But that's really it. That's all I have for you guys in terms of just the latest quarterback updates, the latest quarterback news, rumors, reports, all that stuff. Not trying to entertain it too much anymore because, I mean, my opinion's kind of set. Like, this stuff doesn't change my opinion one way or another. It's just information. It's just news that I thought you guys would like to hear because my opinion's the same. Just get Fields in here. If it's not Fields, bring in Aaron Rodgers. And if it's not either of those guys, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, at that point, wouldn't be the worst thing to just trade the house and go get Cam Ward. I mean, I'd be for that than pretty much any other of thing options. Bringing back Russ, Darnold, Danny Dimes, Derek Carr. Just go get Cam Ward. Just do that. That would be my third option at this point. No more Stafford. Just trade the house, go get Cam Ward in the draft. But that's it for today's show. I'm going to have another show later today recapping some of the combine stuff. So stay tuned for that. But in terms of this version of Big Deke News, or the early edition of Big Deke News, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chilling, and peace.